Okay, today I have a very special guest all the way from Singapore on my show, Joel Low. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Herman, for having me on your show and having me here to share what I do. And yeah,
I'm really glad you can join us today, despite your heavy schedule.
my pleasure, my
Yeah.
pleasure.
So, just to kick off, let's tell the audience what you do because we have a very relatable subject to discuss.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Joel Low. I'm from Singapore. What I do different things. I'm a TV actor, a stage performer, but I'm
Mhm.
also a voice coach and a voice healer as well.
A voice healer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Before we dive into this subject, I just saw your IG story that you were eating ice cream, having an ice cream break. How
Yes, I
hot
needed
it
a
is?
break.
How hot it is in Singapore right now? I shouldn't ask because I know I'm from Singapore as well. Is it hot or is it 24, 25 degrees?
I think it's like 30, 33, 34 degrees.
Okay, that's
It's
normal.
crazy. The weather here is scorching.
That's why an ice cream break is necessary.
Yes.
Okay, good, 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 good. Now, voice coach, voice
Yeah,
healing,
yeah,
very, very fascinating.
yeah.
Um, what do you actually do as a voice coach? Because some people have not heard of voice coach. Probably they have not. Is this a real
Hmm.
profession, actually?
Well, in this day and age, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's real profession or not, it's what you made out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is voice coaching? So, voice coaching comes in different forms. What I do, I help people to sing. I help people to find their confidence in public speaking. I help them with their communication. I help them with finding and changing the way they sound. But most importantly, what I do is that helping them to reconnect back to their authentic self and find their own voice. Yeah. I
Okay.
think growing up, a lot of us, we have certain ideas of how we want to sound or how we think we should sound.
Okay. Now
And
you.
whether these ways of these sounds are actually who we are, that's another question.
Okay. You talk every day. I talk every day. Why do we still need voice coaching? What is wrong with our voice? Tell me what is wrong with our voice?
Firstly, there's nothing wrong with your voice,
Good,
okay?
good. So we don't need you.
Yay! No, but precisely because you talk
Mhm.
every day, that is why your voice is so important. That is why your voice is it holds the key to unlocking different aspects of your life. I'm not sure if you were here during the recent general elections here in Singapore, no? But have you watched like clips of like politicians speaking or ministers speaking? No.
No, no, no,
Which is fine.
no,
Yeah.
no. Was it
Yeah.
on
So
a social media platform?
yeah, on social media platforms, there were like memes or certain viral videos that went, that went quite hot on social media. So we speak every day, and that is the reason why you need voice coaching because we speak every day. We are not conscious of the way we are speaking and the way we are presenting or carrying ourselves. What if there were, and because we are not conscious, there are certain situations that demand us to speak a different way or a certain way to engage different groups of people. And when you're not able to make those shifts or make or adapt yourself accordingly, that's when you feel when you that your audience will feel that you're out of place.
Mm,
Yeah.
is
And
that
the
true?
audience don't relate to you. They cannot connect with you.
Very insightful. Now, I hear this a lot, Joel. I hear this a
Mm,
lot from people. I'm not a speaker. I get nervous when I talk. I don't know what to say. But I believe deep down, it's not just about the words. They are struggling with how they sound. That's what I believe. And they feel self-conscious about their voice.
yeah.
What do you think is really going on with that person? Not because they don't have something to say, because they don't like the way they sound. What do you think is going on there?
Yeah. And you know what? You brought up a very interesting phenomena. So when we don't like the way they sound, what really is happening is we don't really like ourselves. We
Ah,
don't accept ourselves for who we are.
self-acceptance, huh?
Yeah, self-acceptance, self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem. How do you view yourself? How much, you know, of your how much self-worth do you have? It's because
Mm,
we don't accept ourselves for who we are, we don't like the way we sound, we don't like our own voice. So a lot of my work as a voice coach is helping people to accept who they are. Be okay with themselves, be okay with their own voice. Then that's when the magic begins. That's when people begin to shift. And when they begin to shift, their voice begin to change as well.
since you talk about sometimes we don't like our voice, what
Hmm.
is the difference between a voice that people really listen to and one that the audience will stop listening the moment you open your mouth? Mhm.
Well, in terms of, if you want to look at it from a technical perspective, there are very specific qualities, like vocal qualities that we look at or we hear that we pick up.
Mhm.
Generally, a voice that people are drawn to is something that sounds a bit, that has depth, sounds a bit deeper, sounds a bit richer, versus something that sounds like this, that sounds a bit squeaky, and it sounds a bit bright. And also the way you talk, especially for Singaporeans, we tend to speak a lot faster.
And
And when we speak
Singlish
fast,
and Singlish.
and Singlish as well, yeah. And this happens when we are nervous as well. So when we are nervous, we tend to speak a lot faster. And when we speak a lot faster, people sense that, oh, this guy feels a bit nervous, maybe he's a bit anxious for whatever reason, whether that is true or not. Yeah. So there are different vocal qualities and the way we speak that influences how people perceive us.
Can a person know that he or she needs voice coaching and how?
Wow, can a person know?
Yeah,
I
let's
think,
say I'm going to
mm,
present to a team. I work in a corporate company. Let's say I'm
mm,
a manager. I need to present next week. Before I present, do I actually know how I sound like or whether they like my voice? Is that, you know what I mean?
mm,
Do I actually know that there's some problem with my voice and I need professional help?
yeah. Usually, people that come to me, they have a sense that, hey, they want to work on their voice or there's something um, they want to change about their voice. And how do they know about it?
Hmm.
Usually, when you watch playback recordings of their own presentation or
Okay.
audio recordings of the way they speak, or someone might have pointed out to them. They might say, hey, you sound like kind of like this. I'm not really listening to you because of your voice. Then that's when they realize, oh, okay, I do need to work on my voice. So there's usually either self-realization based on some visual or audio feedback or somebody giving them direct feedback to tell them that, hey, maybe their voice is something that they want to work on.
The word voice is very broad because when you
It
say
is.
work on my voice, for
Yeah.
someone listening or watching this, what exactly do you mean? What exactly do you
Yeah.
work on? Yeah, it's very vague, there's this subject, voice. What exactly are you working on the
What does
voice?
it mean? Ah!
Can you show some examples when someone approach you, hey, I need improvement on my voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually in my first session with them, I would really clarify with them what exactly do they want to work on. Is it things like pronunciation, articulation?
Hmm.
Is it the tone of their voice? Is it the words that they use? Is it how they present themselves, how they come across? Yeah. And usually it's a combination of all of this.
Ah, okay. So it's not just one problem.
It's not just one thing. Yeah. So that's why when it comes to voice coaching, it is a holistic approach. There are different levels that we look at. We look at the level of the psychology, what's happening in their belief system, what's happening in the way they view or see themselves.
Hmm.
Then we look at it from a physical point of view, what's happening in their body, how are they breathing, how are they using this body as an instrument. Then third, we look at in terms of acoustics, how are they sounding? Do they want to sound a certain way? Do they want to change the way they sound? And then after that, and that also involves pronunciation and articulation as well. So different layers to look at. And they are all dynamic factors, like a shift in your body will affect the rest. So it's a constant like ping pong back and forth. And for me as a coach, I'm there as a mirror to reflect, to highlight to point out, and to guide them in the right track.
You talk about belief system.
Mm,
Some of us believe that our voice is just the way it is from young. It cannot be changed. You're laughing. Now, some say, oh, my mom told me not to speak too loud. It's wrong, in the public. So
yeah.
we have this condition in our mind, our body, that we cannot raise our voice.
Mm.
So when you present yourself, you speak in just one monotonous tone. How do you help people break free from these family taught beliefs about their voice? Because their mom says, you cannot speak so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making a fool of yourself in the public. So when you coach people, sometimes they need to raise the volume to put the energy there, to put some emphasis on that
Mm,
sentence. And they say,
mm,
no, 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 I'm not going into that department. It's wrong,
mm.
coach. I can't do that. How do you deal with that?
Okay.
Or how do
So
you coach
firstly,
these people?
yeah. So first, we need to understand that communication or the way we speak is all conditioning. They're all learned behaviors,
Mhm.
which means they can be unlearned and relearned. They can be changed, right? Yeah. So helping them to realize where those behaviors come from, what sort of conditioning they have received growing up, perhaps like you said, from their parents, or even from their schools or their teachers. Like for me, I had my voice taken away from me when I was in school and when I was at home. Like growing up in school, I remember I was 9 years old. As a kid, I was kind of talkative in school, so I was talking a lot, yeah,
Mhm.
in school. And I remember this day, up to now, very vividly, my English teacher, she called me out of the class. And I was standing against the wall.
Yeah.
She came in close to me and she said this to me: "You better stop talking in class." And the next thing I knew, she gave me one tight slap on my face.
Wow, that's abuse.
I was shocked. As a 9-year-old kid, I didn't know how to respond. And at
Okay.
that point in time, at that moment, the little spark and light in me just died down. It dimmed a little bit. And then I learned that, okay, now in school, I need to keep quiet and shut up. If not, I will
Mhm.
get slapped on my face
Mhm.
again. And it's experiences like this that actually affect the way we communicate, affect the way we speak, because all these belief systems start to come in, all these conditioning start to come in. I'm not allowed to speak out loud. If I do, there'll be consequences. If I were to cry at home, my parents will scold me, there'll be consequences. And then we stop expressing who we are. So when it comes to that, helping my clients to understand, hey, what were some of those past experiences that they have been through that have shaped them in a certain way? And how then can they break out of it? How can they connect back to the younger self that is more free, that is more expressive? Yeah. Once I help them to process some of those experiences, and then I will throw in I usually throw in exercises to get them to start to play and have fun. I think
Mhm.
as adults, we often forget to have fun.
Yeah,
But
we are so serious,
yeah,
right?
we are so serious. But having fun and play, that's the best way to learn. That's the best way for our body and our brain, our mind to rewire themselves, to learn new behavior habits. Yeah, so sometimes I'll throw in drama games, I'll throw in improvisational games based on my background as an actor. Getting them to have a bit of role play. Okay, right now imagine you're somebody else. How would you be? How would you speak? How would you behave? How would you move? And just getting them to expose them to a different set of speaking habits, a different way of communicating, a different way of being, and slowly but surely, that different way also becomes a part of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm not changing who they are, but I'm just expanding who they can be.
Mhm. By breaking the
Yeah,
beliefs, some of the
correct.
beliefs.
Some of the beliefs and some of the physical habits or emotional habits that they have picked up over their life.
Who are the people that you coach?
Wow, it's quite a range.
Mhm.
I have people in their 30s or 40s that they are transiting perhaps to a more leadership role in a company, and they realize, hey, to command a certain presence when they speak is so important. Yeah. So they come to me. I have also people in their 50s and 60s. They have been through quite a bit in their life. And they're at that point, and they're at that moment in their life where they realize, oh, I need to be, I need to change. Yeah, I need to,
Okay. Okay. I want to stop you here. I need to
yeah.
change. Now, these people come to you for a reason. Like someone they say, I need to change. What is actually missing in that voice? Like, can you give some examples? Because I need to change.
Mm,
There must be something that he or she is not satisfied with the way he speaks or just the way he sounds. What is actually missing there? Is it a
yeah.
fair question to ask?
It is a fair question to ask. I think, or rather than asking what is missing, I think it's that realization. You see, God has given all of us this body, which is an
Mm-hmm.
instrument,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how we use this instrument is really up to us. And there is a realization that they have not, in a way, tapped into the potential of their own body, the instrument that they have been given, in terms of the way they sound, the way they speak, or the way they communicate. And they want to maximize that. They want to better engage with their audience. They want to tell more impactful stories. They want to touch hearts through the words, through presentation, through things that they do, or even through singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
And
these
that's with that
people,
realization they come to me.
so these people in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s, they are self-employed or they work for companies, they are leaders in the corporate industry. Who are they exactly?
Um, Good question. Let me just do a quick recap.
You have a wide
A
range,
mix,
right?
yeah, quite a wide range actually. Um, a few of them are self-employed. A few of them are managers and department heads, and a few of them are entrepreneurs.
Okay. And they need to improve their voice because they are doing a lot of presentations or introducing themselves on stage at business events or what kind of things?
Mostly presentations,
Mm-hmm.
like be it presenting to their own team or to their supervisors or bosses, communicating to as they move up the ladder, the corporate ladder, they might communicate with different leaders in their industry. They want to sound a certain way to 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 build that bridge with them, or they would just want to expand their range of being able to express, like knowing when to sound, knowing how to sound assertive, and knowing how to sound nurturing and caring when needed.
That is like an actor, right, in a movie. Because it is
It
a
is.
skill to be learned. It just doesn't
It
happen
is.
naturally.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. So people think, acting is so easy, you're just on film, on theater, or stage, you just be natural and just, respond. But no, it is a skill. So knowing when and how to switch takes, it's a skill and it takes wisdom.
So can I say whenever someone presents, they
Mm,
must apply some acting skills to their presentation?
definitely. I see
Wow.
presentations as a one-man monologue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So like when I coach like my clients with their presentations, I will look at their script, I'll break it down as if it is an acting monologue. Okay, let's break it down. Okay, what are you doing over here in this introduction? What do you want from your audience?
Can we do
What
a
what
real situation where I present and you tell me what's wrong with that? Is that okay?
all right, you do
At
a
a
quick.
business now, you go to business networking events.
Yeah,
The host will ask the members or the guests to go on stage to introduce themselves
introduce
for one
themselves.
minute
Yes.
usually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm there and then I need to go up on the stage. So you are the voice coach. Let's see what's wrong with my voice, okay?
Mm.
Hello, my name is Herman Chow. Um, it's my first time here. Nice to meet all of you. Um, sorry, I don't know what to say. I'm a business coach. I coach leaders to be better leaders in their roles. I live in Amsterdam. I have two children, very small. Okay, that's it.
All right. Wow.
What can be
So if
improved and what is wrong with that?
usually if you were my coach, I would ask, okay, so how was that for you, Herman?
I feel okay, I was nervous.
Mm,
I'm still a human being. I get nervous whenever I speak. Um, I feel safe because I try to follow the crowd because most of the people that I've seen, they will introduce themselves this way.
mm,
So I'm not being confronted.
okay.
I just want to be polite, comfortable in my comfort zone. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
All right. So you're keeping it safe. You don't want to take any risk.
Correct. So from a voice coach, what can I improve or what is wrong with my speech?
Mm, well,
Be honest, huh?
there's
Because we need to be
yeah.
raw and real here.
Well, well, there's nothing wrong if you want to play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong if you just want to be like that, you know. But if you want to be seen, if you want to be heard, if you want to be remembered, then I don't think that would be the approach going forward.
Why isn't that being seen the way I talk? I'm just very curious.
Yeah. Because like you mentioned, everybody is doing or saying something along those lines as well, the way
Mm-hmm.
they speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which means that you blend right in with them, which means that you don't stand out. And I understand standing out can be scary because, evolutionary, we are wired not to stand out. Going
Mm-hmm.
back to our caveman days, to stand out means you'll be killed by predators, by animals. I understand.
Yeah.
But and we have those, passed down from all the lineages. But know that right now we are not living in those times anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And standing in front of people can be scary, and that's why we feel nervous, we feel anxious. That's why our nervous system goes into this fight flight mode.
Yeah.
But how then can you shift and change that for yourself? You mentioned that you're a business coach. Can you tell me what sort of personality or person are you as a business coach?
Soft spoken,
Soft spoken, okay.
um, kind, empathetic.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right.
Not that kind of aggressive, hard, stern, strict coach. Not that kind. Mm.
All right. So I'm hearing someone who is very empathetic, lots of heart as well when you speak. Can you
Mm-hmm.
have more of that when you introduce yourself? What I mean by more of that, tap into that heart space that you were talking about, that sense of empathy. Looking at your audience, a room full of strangers, looking
Okay.
at them,
Okay.
and they are curious to know who you are. How do you build that sense of connection, heart connection with them when you speak?
I
You
think
can say the same words.
that's
You
very
can say the same
difficult.
words. Yeah, it's difficult, yeah?
So you're asking me to speak from my heart.
Yes. You can use the same words, but I want you to speak from your heart and see how that changes the tone of your voice or the way you speak.
Wow, you're challenging me, Joel. Same words, huh?
Same words.
My name is Herman Chow. This is my first time to this event, and I'm pretty nervous. I'm a human being. I don't know what to say, but I know I have something in my mind that I wanted to say. Um, I have been a business coach for a while. I coach leaders to perform better leaders in their roles. I have two children and I live in Amsterdam. Was there a difference?
What do you think? What do you feel? How do you feel right now?
I feel that my voice is a bit deeper,
Yep.
and I try to inject some emotions in the way I
Mm,
talk,
mm,
but sometimes it feels very fake
mm.
to me. That's how I felt. But
Mm,
as a voice coach, do you see a difference in that? And if you do, just share with us or share with me.
yeah. So I'm like what I'm hearing in terms of the tone of your voice, like you mentioned, is deeper.
Mhm.
So when someone, and that sense, and with that sense, I have a feel like, hey, you're more sincere
With a deeper voice.
with deeper voice, but also with the way you were coming across, your body language, the
Ah,
way the pacing of your words, the
okay.
way you took certain pauses to think, to reflect before responding. Mm.
So
And
voice coaching is more than just the voice. You look at a lot
yes,
of things from different
a lot of
angles, even
things.
the body language, the
Yeah,
pacing.
body language. Yes, the pacing, the the pauses you use.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Is
lot.
that is that really necessary? I mean, from your customer's point of view,
Mm.
is it really necessary to do that?
If
Because
you want to,
you only have a few, say 1 minute to introduce yourself.
and that's why it is necessary, because you
Mhm.
only have that 1 minute to make an impact. And comparing your first version and second version, I relate more to you in your second version. I feel that connection with you more as compared
Mhm.
to your first version. Yeah.
Okay.
And in your first version, there were a lot of fillers. There were a lot of in between. And and if I were an audience hearing that and seeing that, I would like, okay, this person is not that confident. There's a lot of
Ah.
hesitations.
Hmm.
Whereas in the second version, even though you were speaking slower, even though you took pauses, but those were thoughtful pauses.
Hmm.
And it shows to me, hey, okay, you are thinking, you are very thoughtful. This someone who's sincere and grounded, and even though he admits that he doesn't know what to say, but just him being standing in front and sharing, you know, shows a lot of courage. And he's still doing it, even though he's afraid. And this is someone whom I can trust.
I guess some people come to you and will ask, Joel, how can I speak with confidence?
Yeah.
You mentioned this word. Now, you have already shared your opinion
Mm,
with my talk. Besides my example, can you give some example or one another example of someone who lacks confidence in their voice, and how can he or she projects that confidence in the voice when they speak? Do
mm,
you have other examples? You've coached a lot of people, I suppose.
mm,
Hmm.
mm, mm. So the lack of confidence really comes from the sense of insecurity that they have with themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah. And this stems usually from experiences that they have had. Like, I have had clients who came out to me and say, hey, I don't feel confident when I speak,
Hmm.
and ask them, okay, what do you exactly mean by that?
Yeah.
And then they will share a little bit more. Some of them will say, oh, it's because, when I speak, the audience, sometimes they have this look on their face and I feel like I'm saying it all wrong, or, and whatever that I plan just goes, out of the window,
Hmm.
right? So underneath that layer of lack of confidence, there are insecurities. There are triggers that reminds them of certain experiences that they have had. That sometimes there's even a need to be perfect. There's a need to control.
Hmm.
Yeah. And we know that when we are speaking to a live audience, everything is live. You can't control things. You can't control the way people behave.
Correct,
They
correct,
are who
correct.
they are. They will behave a certain way. But what you can control is how you respond to their behavior. Some of them might have a resting bitch face because that's just who they are. But you then interpret it as, oh, okay, because they
Yeah.
don't like me. Right? And,
So
and and
you're
that's your own interpretation of things.
so in other words, they are more concerned about how other people see them rather than coming across as a confident person. I think the
Yes.
weight is on how people see them. You agree?
Yeah.
And
They're
not,
very self-conscious.
yes. So, in other words, they have to work on that fear of judgment first.
Yeah. Yeah. So realizing that they have that fear of judgments, that's when we can start to change. And then usually I like to remind them that it's important to have fun. Treat it as a
Hmm.
game. Have fun
Hmm.
with your audience. And when you have fun with your audience, even if you go a bit and how should I say? When you have fun with your audience, it gives you the permission to go a bit crazy.
Joel, it's easy said than done because when you're standing there nervous, giving a presentation, to have fun with the audience, to connect with the audience, and also to adopt the acting skills, that's a whole lot of things you're asking me to do.
It is a lot. It is a lot. You have to manage all your nerves that's coming up. You have to manage all your insecurities and you manage the audience all at the same time. But you know what? It's actually kind of fun.
Okay, okay.
it's,
I hear this quite a lot of fun. That's a
it's this sense of like
vocabulary.
adrenaline rush, having that adrenaline rush, like, okay, this very particular moment in time, I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to say my words and I'm going to hear how they respond.
Hmm. So how does your coaching session looks like? How many
Oh,
training sessions do you offer?
I don't fix in terms of like okay. So I do one-to-one coaching and group sessions as well. So for my one-to-one coaching, I don't fix like specific number of sessions like, oh, you need to do 4, 8 or 10 or 12.
Hmm.
But you know because it's case by case basis, depending on what my clients want to work on,
Hmm.
I would suggest accordingly. I might say, okay, let's do 4 sessions first. We'll try to hit certain targets and then we review how much, how to go forward from there, from there on. Yeah, so there's always constant review, like, okay, how much are we progressing? Are we in the right direction? Is this what you want? If this is not what you want, okay, let's get back on track. Sometimes client, very often we don't know what we really want. Even us, even myself as a consumer, we don't know what we want until somebody tell us or somebody highlights to us.
True.
And that's me as a coach, is to clarify that for my clients. What exactly do you want, and how does it come across? How
Hmm.
is it being presented? Yeah.
What is one thing that most of us do not know about our voice, but we should?
Ooh. Can you
Yeah.
show me your little pinky?
Yes.
Yeah. And look at your fingernail.
Oh,
Your
okay.
pinky fingernail,
Yeah.
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 That's the length of your vocal cords that allows you to make sound.
You mean the nail here is the length of
Yeah,
your
the
vocal
length.
cord?
Yeah, the length. Yes, that's the length of your vocal cords.
Ah, that's
It
fascinating.
allows you to make sound. It's so small, right?
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Oh, this is something I don't know, but we should.
Yeah. Why? Why should you?
How does
Why?
it help? Yeah. Why we should know about this? How does it help with our voice?
Because a lot of us, I mean, sometimes we don't realize how precious and small these things are. And then we might abuse them. When I say abuse them, it can be like from shouting to screaming
Hmm.
non-stop to speaking whole day without resting and not knowing how to take care of our own voice.
Oh, we didn't
Especially
touch on
for
that.
those who are, yeah, for those who are speakers and trainers and coaches, your voice is your tool and your instrument.
So I
How
guess
you,
one of the ways to treat that is to have an ice cream break, like what you did on your Instagram story, right? To soothe your voice. Ice cream?
ice cream?
Yes or no? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ice cream was more for my own like psychological, like emotional break.
You know I'm joking. Okay. You know I'm joking.
I
I'm
know.
joking. Yeah. 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 Well, that's
But yeah,
interesting. This length here, the nail,
yeah,
is
this
the
small
length of
little
our
thing.
vocal cord.
Vocal cords, yeah. So
Hmm.
taking care of our vocal cords and our throat and our body is so important because this is really your instrument. Your
Yes, it's the
instrument to
instrument.
communicate, right? Yeah.
And a lot of people, or even including myself, we do not know how to use this instrument to the maximum, to the
Mm.
ultimate. Yeah. So it's a beautiful instrument if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
And I've also been to networking events, and the thing that I've seen business owners when they introduce themselves on stage with this flat tone throughout the entire speech. I think this is something you can help them with.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. And that happens because they are nervous.
I understand,
Yeah.
but they have to put in the work if they want to stand out. And I think
Definitely.
in a crowded market, you need to stand out
Yep.
for people for this sales opportunity to grow and connect with people. Now, one last thing before we wrap things up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only given 5 minutes a day to practice your voice,
Mm.
what kind of tip can you give the audience? 5 minutes
Oh.
only.
Sure.
Hmm.
I would remind them to warm up and cool down. Say if they are, treat it as an exercise. So if you're going to speak, you need to warm up before you speak, and after that you cool down a little bit after you speak. So 5 minutes is more than enough.
How
So
to warm up? Can you give a
yeah,
real
what I
example?
like to do is some exercises for my articulators, and this is my
Okay,
favorite. It's called tongue rolls. So
let's
very
do it.
simple. You're gonna,
Mhm.
yeah, with the lips closed, we're gonna push our tongue against our lips and draw circles like this. Full circle.
Clockwise or anti?
And one direction first, then we're gonna change direction. All right. So we're gonna do 5 rounds first, and then we're gonna change direction. Ready?
Okay.
One, two together. Ready?
Mm.
1, 2, 3, go. First one, and then we change the other way, and then 3 rounds and go. 3 rounds the other way, and we change. 2 rounds and go, and we change. All right, and relax. How was that for you? Was it easy?
It's pretty hard. Now, how does this really warm up the voice? Because it feels like loosening your muscles here.
Yes. So we need to loosen up our muscles first.
Ah,
We
okay,
have a
that's
lot of
the warm
tension
up.
over here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
warm
yeah.
up.
I
Yeah,
feel a bit
and
loose
our,
here now. I feel a bit loose.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Do you feel any particular places that's aching or a bit tender
I think here, this two.
over here? All
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
this is
our
a warm up.
Yeah, this is a warm-up exercise for the tongue, and the tongue is important because our tongue is connected to our entire muscular body through the fascia system.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So some people will feel aching at different areas. Some might feel it here. Some might feel it at the back of the neck, or even the skull, back of the skull. Those are tension points where they hold tension every day.
Okay.
Right. So doing a simple exercise like this helps to release those tension points. So that's a muscular exercise to warm up the articulators. Next
Great.
is a
Mhm.
vocal exercise. I like to do this vocal exercise called lip trill like this.
Is this also part of a warm up?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, we do it together.
try. Yeah, try. Very good.
Hmm.
And then with this, I will usually glide up and down. If I were to glide down like this,
Oh. Oh, this is challenging. Okay.
if you find it challenging, don't worry. You can use your fingers to just push up the corners of your lips so that your lips can stay relaxed. Try.
Oh, I can't. Well, I can't keep it consistent.
Mm.
It stops. I prefer the tongue. I love my tongue.
Oh.
Okay, okay. So these are the two warm-ups.
Yeah, two very important warm-ups. The lip trills, you can use it to extend your range, gliding up and down.
So what does this do actually? What
So
does
it
this
does a
do?
few things.
Mhm.
So number one, with the lip trill, in order for your lips to vibrate or to trill, it has to be relaxed. but it cannot be fully relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're number one, you're tuning into how much tension you need. Not too much and not too little.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about balance over here when we talk about the voice.
Right.
All right. So tuning into your body, and with the lips moving, you need airflow. You want to make sure that there is consistent airflow so that the lips are moving consistently.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So air is important because air vibrates the vocal cords to create sound. So the lips trilling gives you a feedback of how the airflow is like.
Okay.
And third, by you gliding up and down, you are extending the vocal range of your cords, the vocal range, and also stretching the vocal cords.
Okay.
So this prepares you for speech. Say if you have an excited moment in your speech and you want to go a bit higher in pitch, it prepares you for that.
Mm.
Or say if you want to sound a bit lower, to sound a bit more grounded, it prepares you for that as well.
Is this part of warming up? Let me show you this. Oh, is this warming up your voice?
Um, I would say more of opening up the space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, feeling that space and the sensation, how it feels like in the back of your throat.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it helps as well.
it does. Yeah. Usually, what I like to do is get my clients to yawn and have sound when they're yawning like this. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. And then after that, we have this yawn to maintain the space in the throat with that yawning sensation. Because what it does is that it brings the voice down.
wow. These are things that we hardly do, huh?
Yeah. So that's why I say your body is really an instrument, especially over here.
It
There's
is.
so many things that you can play around with and change the way you sound.
Wow. I think we learned a lot from you today. So before we go, is there one last thing you need to tell the audience that they can do straight away after watching this about their
Do straight
voice?
away.
About their voice.
About their voice.
It can be to care about
Mm,
their voice, how they can care. Just one thing,
mm.
one hack.
Always, yeah. I think always take time to tune into your body, sense how your body is breathing and where the tension points are. We actually carry a lot of tension in our body without realizing. And when our body is tense, this instrument cannot vibrate. And when it cannot vibrate, the sound that you produce lacks resonance and lacks the quality that how should I say? That the timbre of the sound, the tone of the sound will be different.
I'm I want to put myself in the audience's shoes.
Yeah.
What do you mean by tuning yourself? You tune your body.
So basically, being aware of the physical sensations that you are feeling in your body. Yeah.
Mm,
Where do you
okay.
feel the tension? Where are the tension points? A lot of times we actually have too much tension in our body, and just learning to let go of what is not needed actually frees up your body to breathe better and also allows your body to resonate better.
Wow, there's so much to learn from you about the voice. And I think people who need to improve their voice should come to you straight away. So I'm going to add your link where they can find you. So if
Mhm.
anybody needs some help, go to Joel Low. He's based in Singapore. He's a voice coach. So today, thank you so much for your time
My pleasure.
to share with us your insights on voicing.
My pleasure.
So
And
let's
thank you for
play with
having
our
me.
instrument and maximize it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joel. I'll speak to
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Mm.
you.